What's good, y'all? It's Brandon with Bama Fitness, and today I have a special guest, which you can see over here. His name is Brian Hilliard, representing the USA team. What's good? What's good? How are you, brother?
What's up, Brandon? I've missed you, man. I haven't seen you in so long.
I know.
How's everything going? I'm doing good. How are you?
Everything's smooth, brother. Just maintaining. You only can do so much during this time, so just trying to maintain and stay busy and active and everything. What's good
And
with
safe. Well, for the time being, I'm here in Texas and the good old heartland, the dirty South. Little known fact, I was actually born in Texas. Even though I lived in Cali for like 35 years, I was born in Texas.
Really? That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I didn't even know. Like, what part?
Houston.
Houston. Oh man. What like at what age did you move?
2 years old.
Two
I'm a
years
Cali
old.
kid at heart,
Huh.
but I was born here in
Yeah,
Texas.
that's awesome, man. You had to make your way back there.
Yeah, no,
That's crazy.
full circle.
First, so thank you for joining me, doing this interview and everything. I know, you're the first person that actually popped in my mind. I was like, you know what? I want to start interviewing people and whatnot. I was like, who can I interview? And you're the first person that popped in. And I was like, yo, man, I gotta get my brother Brian Hilliard.
I appreciate it, man.
No
I appreciate
problem,
it.
bro.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. But I know you from being in California. What part of California did you grow up in?
I grew up in a city called Moreno Valley. It's an hour east of LA. It's where, when in the 80s, when LA was popping, LA was booming, there was nothing in Moreno Valley, like nothing. It was desert.
Really?
So they built some houses. Housing was really inexpensive. People from LA started migrating. My dad was like, yo, let me go. Came out to Mobile. That's where I was raised.
That's what's up, man. So and I know you were training up in Sacramento area a couple times.
Yes.
So you were traveling back and forth, or like?
So what happened was in maybe 2011, I was at the IKF Hawaii. 2010, I was in 2011, one or two. I was at the IKF Hawaii tournament, and I ended up fighting, and I fought Brandis Miyazaki in the final, and I fought him in the final for team, and he beat me in the individual. I beat him in the team.
Okay.
But Sensei John approached me and he goes, hey man, who's coaching you? And I was like, oh, I got my senpais at my house and I go to the sport gym. I was senpais at the dojo. I go to the sport gym. And he was like, yeah. But who's coaching you? And I was like, wait, what? And he hit me with that. I was like, shit, no one. So shoot no one.
Yeah,
so
right.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, no one, I guess. I don't really have a coach. I just have people helping me. He goes, if you really want to improve and get better, you have to have a coach. You have to have someone, coaching you and helping you and working to improve and, guiding you. And I was like, oh, he goes, I don't do this. I have my own students. I make my own champions. Pointed over there. There's a bunch of kids with like trophies and medals.
All the time.
The big medal, all Hawaii,
Yeah.
all ICAF, all Sacramento. I was like, dang. I was like, yeah, I know. He goes, but if you ever want to come up, man, hit me up. And I was like, okay. And I had fought Robbie Reithmeyer at his tournament. I knew IKF. I'd watch Nationals, NKF, Nationals, AU Nationals. I saw, IKF had people in the finals like every year.
Every single time.
All the time.
Like, how do they?
So I went up.
It's crazy. It's insane. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right? How do they do that? Kata, Kumite, weapons, team Kata, team weapons, team Kumite. Even referees are in the finals.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny, man.
So then in 2012, I went up there for like the first time and trained with him for a weekend. And I stayed in his pool house and I was like, oh my God, this is what training is about. And I was like, oh, I've been doing this all wrong. Yeah. He made it like, instead of guessing, because I was very much guesstimating, what I was doing, he had a science. He was like, you do this technique, you do it like this is how you do it, this is how you score it. Do it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. I agree with that because I moved out there a while ago, back in like 2008, 2009, and that's when I first started training with him. Let me tell you, I didn't train with him for a long time, but within that first 2 weeks of training, let me tell you, my kumite went from like here to like right there, bro. I'm like, whoa, there is like so much crap that I did not know. Like you said, you're like guesstimating things. Within 2 weeks, I became more relaxed, and I'm just like, it just felt more normal, you know.
Yes.
And I'm like, damn,
Yes.
like this guy's so good. I was like, I gotta train here like forever now, man. Training wise, he's absolutely amazing. I recommend anybody to go train with him. Just with the IKF team in general, like they're really good. There's a lot of senseis out there that are super good. John he tops it. He's excellent.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
He's amazing.
So, or what age? Tell me your story of like how you got into karate. What age? Where at? And what kept you in karate?
I was born. And then, no, I'm joking. So this is what happened. This is really this is what happened, and it dates back before me. So my mom was a tomboy, and she used to watch a lot of kung fu movies, and she used to love to play kung fu, play fight with her brother. She had a bunch of brothers. She was the youngest girl, and the last girl, and then there was like 4 boys after her. So she was the oldest of the boys, so she always played with them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she loved kung fu. In college, she went to U of H, University of Houston, and she was taking Taekwondo as a college course. During that time, she got pregnant with me. So on like one of her finals or something for the Taekwondo college course, the instructor, you have to practice ukemi, falling. So the instructor's like throwing her to the ground, and she's pregnant with me practicing her falling. So that dated before me. Yeah. My mom, So my mom has me. My dad comes out to California. My mom and I come out like maybe a year later, 6 months later, whatever in between that time, because my dad had got a job out here that he sent for us, once he had a place, apartment, and stuff like that. We come out. My mom finds this community college course and no idea what it's about. She's just like, yo, let me try this. It's cool, karate, blah, blah, blah. She starts it. Dude, it's under Sensei Demura's lineage. That's crazy. At a community college. Yeah. I was like, okay. So she does it. She's doing it. When I turned 7, like I'm in the back watching. Like every class she's doing, I'm in the back. I remember, like my mom did like Bato practice and stuff, sword. So she had like one of the littler swords, not the full size, but the littler ones. And I'd be in the back playing with that, punching and kicking, mimicking class. I started doing this when I was 3 years old. So I was watching. When I was 7, my mom was like, get in there. Yeah. Put me in, and I went in, and I've been in ever since. I stopped a few times, like high school when I just got, into other things. I kind of took a break. No, I take that back. In high school, there was a PE course of karate from this weird guy at my school. Really? Yeah, it was like some weird, like, so you know how we punch like this, right? Yeah. Straight punch. Their main punch was like with a big knuckle and like this.
That's weird. You'll break your wrist out, like, right?
I don't want to talk bad about anybody's style, but I was just like, really? Like this? That just feels weird. Give him a noogie.
Yeah, right? Here. That's crazy.
So that's how I got in, and we had no idea what we were getting into. I had no idea that I would be like that. You know what I mean? Like it would literally consume me. And I just did it because 1, it was an outlet, 2, discipline, obviously, 3, self-defense, and because my mom did it. And I stayed in. My mom ended up started teaching at a YMCA in Corona, California. And the rest is history. Yeah. That was my start.
Oh, that's awesome. So you trained under Sensei Demura's, you said his lineage, right? So did you train with him, or was it? All right,
so cool. This is how it started. Sensei Demura's number 2. His name is Dwight Lemaezva. He's a Native American who ran RCC. He was teaching at RCC, and he had his helpers teaching there too. And that's where me and my mom started. He was the highest rank under Sensei Demura. Okay. So he was teaching there, and come to find out, my mom started going to the main dojo and training there. And then, like later on, she would take me when she would go sometimes. She ended up having a falling out at the community college with the group. And so she started going down to the main dojo, Sensei Demura's his dojo, where he was teaching, where Black Belts were teaching. And then maybe a few years later, she was a brown belt. She opened up a program at the YMCA. She was like testing for a black belt, turned brown belt. You know, she was getting ready to be a black belt. Opened up maybe 1990, started teaching. And then I was training there. And then, you know, Saturdays or whatever, I'd go down to the main dojo. And then my friend who actually joined a little bit later, his mom would take us down to the main dojo to train at Sensei Demura's main dojo. Yeah. So, and then as an adult, I went there like 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes 6 times a week, and he was always there.
Who is like your coach and who's training you now at the moment?
So I'm very lucky. I've trained with a lot of amazing coaches and athletes, and right now I'm in like the place to be in America. I'm in Texas, in Plano. It's near Dallas, and I train with Sensei Brody Burns, who's right now the U.S. head coach for the U.S. national team, and I get to train with Brian Hilliard, who's the national team heavyweight, ranked in the top 12 in the world, recent Pan American Games gold medalist, and I train with Tom Scott, who's ranked like top 5 in the world, Pan American gold medalist, and it's an amazing place to be here. And it was weird because I've been a lot of places, and everyone's training philosophy and system is different, and it takes a while to get used to it. You know what I mean? It takes adapting. Before this, I was training in Japan. Before that, I was training in Sacramento. So I've been some really good places, and I think for this period and for what they're doing here, it's just it like changed my outlook and my mind and my game, you know, in a really, really amazing way. Sensei Brody's super smart. Tom and are super good. They're super smart. They do things in a way that I wouldn't even think. You know what I mean? It's not just training. It's like learning and studying and improving. It's actually working to get better. It's really, really cool. It's like a whole new aspect of karate for me.
Yeah, right? Because a lot of people just think of one aspect of things. Oh, let me just train, punch, kicks. But there's something totally behind the scenes that people don't know. And that's what kind of gets you to become like a better athlete, to actually understand the art and, you know, the movement, the dimensions of like the angles that you're going to be. There's so much to it. And a lot of people don't understand that. So, what style, you said you went with Sensei Demura, you started with him. So what style was that exactly that you started with?
So Sensei Demura came from Japan in like maybe the 50s or 60s. And a gentleman named Dan Ivan called him to come to Japan, from Japan to America. Just said, hey, you know, I got an opportunity. I'm looking for a karate instructor. Come to America, teach for me. We'll pay you. Sensei Demura was like, okay, cool. He did his competition. He did all his training. He was like 20s or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Young man looking, just finished competing, did all Japan, did his thing, looking to, you know, expand his horizon. Came out to America. The guy who brought him out was actually Shotokan. Really? So Sensei Demura was teaching Shotokan. He taught it from like when he first got here, all the way up until when I started. We were still doing Shotokan.
Wow. So
I started doing Shotokan under Sensei Demura. But his original style was Shotoryu. So a few years after, he switched back to his original style after I started. We were under Itosukai.
Okay.
Which is like Mabuni Sakagami or whatever it was, something like that. Or maybe Mabuni someone else Sakagami or something like that. And it was Itosukai Shitoryu, and then Demura Sensei had his own thing because he was kind of like, okay, you know, we separated, and then he changed from Itosukai, he made his own to Gendukai Shitoryu.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Yo, Sensei
he
Demura
used to be with the old Japanese group.
Yeah. That's great. And you'll see Sensei Demura like in so many movies, like the one with Michael Jai White, right? I seen him in that like a while back. What movie was that? Was that Bones? Was it Bones? Something like that? Know. Something like with Michael Jai White, and you see Sensei Demura there, like in the background. I'm like, oh, that's Sensei Demura. I'm like, wow. Chilling. Man, that's awesome, though. That's crazy.
You want to know what's crazy? Sensei Demura took me and another guy to the premiere of the Undisputed 3, I think it was, with Michael Jai White.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
2, maybe it was 1, 2, or 3, I forgot. We watched the movie in the theater. After the premiere, we're out like in this tent where everybody's mingling. You know, it's real nice, tent, food, everybody's talking, like fire lamps kind of going. You know what I mean? I look over, it's Tommy Davidson from In Living Color chilling over there.
Really? What?
Michael, yeah, I was like, yo, I love you. That's my favorite show. Michael Jai White goes, Sensei, calls him out from across the room, dude. Runs over, it's like, oh, Sensei Jimmer, man, thank you so much for coming. It's such a pleasure. I'm so glad to have you here. I grew up on all your books. Oh, hi, I'm Michael. I'm Brian, man. Nice to meet you. Oh, hi, I'm Michael. Bro, like, revered him. He came to Sensei Jimmer's tournaments.
That's awesome, dude.
I think one of the last ones was Lyoto and Shinzo Machida came to Sensei's tournament. Yeah. The Nobutada from The Last Samurai, the boy who died, the archer.
Yeah.
The main guy's son, he came. He's like, they're like,
that's crazy. Wow.
Sensei was crazy, huge. Dude.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. I always wanted to meet Michael Jai White. I always look up to him, you know. Yeah. So people know you for fighting. Mm-hmm. I know you know kata. I know you do kata. Mm-hmm. Would you prefer one over the other?
Man, when I grew up, I literally only trained like kata and basics and like one-step sparring, like one-point sparring, you know. Mm-hmm. That's all I trained. I barely did kumite that much. I really enjoy kata. It's peaceful. Sometimes it's frustrating because I want to get good, but I know I'm not good. So I want to practice it, but I thoroughly enjoy kata. I know there's a lot of history and a lot of just amazing hidden secrets in there. You know what I mean? That just translate, man. I've done things in kata and then like a move simple, like pinanidan, boom, boom. Sensei Jimmer would teach us all the time. Oh, this is the block. Step in, take him down. I've done that in a sparring match. I'm like, Sensei Jimmer, this is for you. You know what I mean? It really translates, man. Kata is, and it's an amazing workout. It's peaceful, man. It's like meditation fighting. You know what I mean? There's nothing like it. I don't think.
No, Kata's awesome.
But I don't hate kumite either. I love kumite too. I just love karate, man.
Yeah, all in general. Yeah. Do you still compete at some tournaments in the kata division, or you just strictly every tournament that you just do strictly fighting?
Actually at Sensei Jimmer's last inter-dojo tournament, I did kata.
What was the outcome?
Gold.
Oh, congratulations on that, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, there were like 10 people. Yeah, it's not big, but still. It was good. It was I still practice. So every Sunday at Sensei Jimmer's Hombu Dojo, they have kata class from 8 to 10:15. So they have 2 classes, like beginner, novice, and then intermediate, advanced. So right now with COVID, they're doing it on Zoom. So I've been jumping in. My mom does it. My mom still does that. So we jump in on Zoom every Sunday.
That's awesome.
At 8 Pacific time, 2 hours of kata.
That's crazy. That's awesome. That's crazy, dude. I'm happy your mom is still in it too.
Yeah, she actually teaches. She started a program at the YMCA in Corona, like 1990, and she still. It's not huge right now, but she still teaches, and that's where I did most of my training for my karate career was at the YMCA on like multi-purpose room floors. Maybe sometimes we had that. Dude, it was ridiculous. It was awesome though, man. I loved it. I made some amazing friends and just learned things in karate and in life that kind of shaped me to who I am.
Yeah, it's really cool. I agree with that. Like karate, for a lot of people like us, ever since we were small until like where we're at now, it molds you to be, a certain type of person, and I don't even know where I would be if I stopped karate. I don't even know, honestly. I try to think about it and I'm like, I can't even think about it. Like,
what if I didn't do this?
Yeah, right.
What would go
on? Man. So, okay. All right. So you said your favorite technique. I was gonna ask you what your favorite technique is for kumite, Kazan Mizuki, right?
I do like Kizamizuki. Actually, I do have a couple, but one of my favorites and the one that really helped me like get good, I guess you could say, and improve my game was the jab. And he taught it to me, and I worked it, and he helped me improve it, and I just work. You know what I mean? Because all I knew was, they're gonna punch. Okay, let me do this real quick. You know what I mean? Yep. I didn't know any better. I also like, I want to do like fancy kicks, but I can't. But my other one would be like a double jodan, like a Kizami Gyaku jodan.
Okay.
That's probably my other best move. Yeah.
You throw some kicks in there, like
I do love kicks. I do love kicks. See, I'm just not that good at them. I want to get better.
Me too. I'm the same way, bro.
You want to know what I did? So I have terrible muscle control in my legs, and you know how people can like lift their leg and like go like this or go like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Every day, I would turn on my shower. Well, I was still living at my mom's back years ago. Turn on my shower, and in the mirror, while the shower heated up and the room got steamy a little bit, I would take my leg and I would just pick it up as high as I could, and like I would pick like a little spot on the curtain and try to get my toes to aim at that spot, and then I'd bring it back. And then I'd just go like bing, 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 and I just practice like maybe like for 2-3 minutes just before I got in the shower. I would do that.
Really?
That's how I got kicks, dude. Yeah. I promise you.
Really?
That's all. I'm in the bathroom, like not naked or anything, but
balls out, dude. Yo. Oh man. Oh. Brian, what you doing? Hold on. Yeah. Oh.
I'm so
Oh shit. Oh man.
You're mad funny, bro. You're mad funny. That shit would be
that's cool though. Nah.
Oh my, yeah. I don't want to give anybody that visual or anything, but I just had to clarify. No. Yeah, I'm about to get in the shower and I'm kicking.
Yeah, right.
Ball and fly. I'm kicking like. No. So I would just practice, like slowly holding it, whatever. But I only did one leg, so I only got one good leg to kick with. I'm starting to do the other leg now, so hopefully in maybe like 3-4 years, 30
You'll
years,
be fine. It'll equal up. It'll match. Yo, tell me your biggest accomplishment, yo.
Okay, so winning the U.S. Open gold was actually one of my favorites. It was hard fought and hard earned. There was a lot of matches, and there was a lot of good people, and I feel that was some of my favorite fighting of mine that I did. And fighting Brandis at finals at nationals was one of my favorites as well. Yeah. It was tie. It was. I was down by 1, and there was 1 second left, and I scored. Like ran across the ring, jab, scored in 1 second.
Yo, I think
it was weird.
I think I remember that. I think I remember that.
Yeah. So it was to go to Worlds in Paris. Yeah, Paris. And he was up by 1, and like I thought I'd scored a couple, and I was like, man, what's going on? But then finally I scored one, boom, and then like 2 flags go out, because you have to have 2 flags in. So I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I got 2 flags. The ref is like, then I go back to kick him. The ref's like, oh, yame. So freaking mad seconds disappeared. And I was like, oh, no. So I'm thinking, okay, I have to charge him. He's either going to run or try to time me. And if I charge him and he goes, boom, he's going to get me. So my plan was, okay, he's going to go Yakuzuki because it's Brandis. I'm thinking of all this in my head. I go, he's going to go Yakuzuki because it's Brandis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, anticipate the Yakuzuki, block his Yakuzuki, go over the top. So I go like this. He moves, and he just goes way over there. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I go like this. I kind of load up, and I step, and I just go, I literally ice skated to him across the field and jabbed. And it was literally, I didn't think I was going to reach, but it was literally like this.
Oh.
And then, beep, Yame, boom, flags go out. And I was just like,
what?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
So, and the crazy part was, at this time, I had trained with Sensei John this whole year. Remember, 2012, that was the first year I was going up. So the first weekend I went up for a weekend, then I'd go up for a week, then I'd go up for 2 weeks, then I'd go up for a weekend, then I'd go up for a week. So I was up and down. Mm-hmm. This was before I actually moved there. So I was in private lessons with Sensei John, training with the class, training with Robbie, training with everybody. Hideki was there. You know, I'm training with all the ITF people. Brandis is training with George in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So, and it's crazy because in the elimination rounds, I fought Kent Hori, who was IKF Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And Sensei John told me, you know, Brian, I'll train you, but I'll coach you. But if you fight IKF, I cannot coach you. I cannot coach you against IKF. But George was in Kent's chair. Mm-hmm. The only reason I got past Kent that year was because he was injured. He like broke his toe or something.
Oh, wow.
Dude, he was beating me with the bro because his timing was, timing was so good, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do nothing. Mm-hmm. Every time I try, I'm like, I go in, boom.
Dang.
Go. So finally, luckily I narrowly make it to the finals, and I'm facing Brandis. Mm-hmm. Sensei John and Sensei George agreed they're not going to coach neither one because Brandis was JIKC. Mm-hmm. I was, Gimbukai, so they kind of stepped back and they were watching from the back. So in the back, I think, you could see Sensei George, and Sensei George's like over here, Sensei John's like over there, like mm-hmm. we're on stage and Sensei George over there, Sensei John over there, just kind of watching. They're both like, come on. Okay, and so I score that point, we come back, I tie it up. Then it goes to Hunte. Mm-hmm. So, and I think, I don't know who controlled the fight. It was like a really good fight, Mm-hmm. I scored, then Brandis scored, again, then I scored, then Brandis scored, then I scored, so it was
back and forth.
Kind of back and forth. But I think with the last point, the way I did it was kind of just like, how can you say no? You know what I mean? So the flags go up. I think I'm not sure. It was either like 3-2 or 4-1. It was like there was stipulated. It wasn't like 5-0. I don't think. But definitely, it was a really good fight.
Yeah.
Definitely, Brandis was on fire that year, and the flags went up. Hyundai, beep, beep, boom, and I'm just literally like this. And I just dropped to my knees and I fall, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like you know what I mean? Like every year before that, like I'm talking 2008 was my first like senior nationals, my first elite nationals. 2008, all the way up. Every year, nothing. Third, second. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or 2008 was my first year medaling. 2006 was my first national, but like 6 years, no gold. The first year I go up to train Sacramento, gold. Yeah. I was like, oh, like it was like such a long time coming, man. I was just like, oh finally, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So that's that was one of my biggest ones. And then I say this last year at Pan Am's, we had a really, really, really good team match. I was the anchor, and in 2 of our matches, one against Mexico, it came down to the last fight, and then against Colombia, it came down to the last fight. And the one against Mexico, I just had to tie, like 0-0, and I was focusing on that. Freaking in the last, 10 seconds, the guy scores. I was like, oh. I should have been focusing on, I was only focused on defense, so I think he got confident. He saw what I was doing. I should have taken a point easily, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But we went into repechage because they went finals. We went into repechage, and then again, it came down to Colombia, and I fought their -84 guy who's legitimately good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically, killed it. And that was a really good moment in my career as well. That's awesome. So the team got bronze. Yeah, and I used to be all about individual, but like with moments like that, you kind of find team, is like
of course,
really prideful.
Yeah. I know you travel all around. Where was your favorite place, to visit, competition wise? What's your favorite tournament for the year? I can't wait for this tournament to pop up.
Ooh, used to be U.S. Open because I used to kill it there every year. Now, man, honestly, I just love tournaments. But I think my favorite place to go is Japan.
Japan? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Japan is dope.
Yes. And I love competing. I love training. And when I visit Japan, the training is always top notch. You know what I mean? It's like, it's good. Yeah. I get my butt kicked a lot. I get my butt kicked here, but I get my butt kicked a lot. And I do some butt kicking, so it's always... And every day is basically a tournament there. They literally spar every day. It's not a joke.
So tell me, brother.
Yes.
Reese's or Twix?
Twix.
Oh, right?
Wait, peanut butter cups?
Yeah, Reese's peanut butter cups.
Or Reese's Pieces?
No, Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh shit, that's hard. It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reese's if I'm cold.
Okay.
And Twix if I'm hot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right.
So like this, cereal if I'm hot.
Strategy.
Yeah. If I'm hot, cereal and milk.
Okay.
If I'm cold, oatmeal.
Okay, I can see that.
I eat that's kind of my thing. And Twix is less peanut butter than Reese's, and the peanut butter makes me, hot.
Gotcha.
Basically, yeah.
All right, man. See, I didn't think about that, but
yeah, I eat foods based upon life, but I also eat them based upon body temperature.
Yeah. Hold on. I need some oatmeal.
It's hot outside, watermelon. It's cold, banana.
That's cool though. Heard you earlier say that you would travel up to Sacramento for a week, then come back, then 2 weeks, then come back, then like stay there for like a month, then come back. So I know there's a lot of stuff that you had to, put off to the side, or to make your dreams and everything come true, to keep on training.
Yeah.
What are the other things, like, did you give up in order to, to make this happen?
Oh, man. So first and foremost, before I got, because remember I said, like, I stopped karate for a little bit, like in high school, but it was like a different kind of karate. After that, I had a whole, like, not karate phase. I was like, just hanging out with friends, kind of going to parties, kind of going out, going to clubs, doing 20s kinds of things. So I had to give that up. So the first thing I did was, like, I quit alcohol cold turkey, and I took up tea.
Okay.
So I love hot tea. I drink it literally every single day, multiple times a day. And that was one of the first lifestyle changes I made. The second one was I started going to the dojo every day. So instead of going out, I'd go to the dojo. I'd wake up, I'd run. So when I first started, going after this dream, I just made a conscious decision. I'd wake up, run 5 miles, come back, do, bless you.
Thank you.
Come back, do like, exercises or whatever I wanted to do, squats, push-ups, sit-ups, kind of stuff, lightweight dumbbell curls, like 50 in a row with like 10 pounds or, 12 pounds, whatever. Just trying to get my body physically fit, go to the dojo for noon class. After, in the evening, go karate. And then, depending, sometimes after that, I'd go do like sprints and stairs at the local community college. So I just stopped focusing on doing this, like going out and stuff like that. And I focused on training.
Okay.
And I think the first thing that kind of helped with that was there was an MTV2 show called The Final Food that I was on back in the day.
Okay.
And one of my senpais was like, if you're going to go on the show, dude, you need to be prepared. So he kind of like started like training with me, during the day at the dojo, whatever. And then that was kind of the start. And then I kind of found out that, WKF, that karate was a sport, not just, it was an art, yes, but it was like a combat sport as well. So I was like, oh, man, I love karate. I want to do that.
Yeah, right.
And I was just like, I want to do that. Done. I partying, drinking, girls, everything, you know what I mean? I just was like, this is what I want to do. And at the time I was teaching and I was training, and that was my focus. And I had a clear-cut vision. I had a clear-cut goal. One of my friends went to Rodrigo's dojo and kind of opened my eyes to what Kumite was. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is. So that was my first kind of taste. Then started training. And so what happened was, went down to Sacramento up and down, won nationals, went to Paris. I didn't win, obviously, but you know, found this love.
Mm-hmm.
Then had Pan Am's the next year from nationals, because we had Pan Am's. It was Worlds and Pan Am's qualification. Went to Pan Am's. I did fairly good. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm doing good, going up, going down. From there, U.S. Open, Pan Am's, and then it was nationals. After Pan Am's, I kind of stopped. I was like, oh, you know, Sensei John, I got it. Don't worry. I can continue my training. I'll just do it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Don't trip. I'm in good shape. Went to nationals, lost. I got third, but, you know, for me, it was a loss.
Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, I can't have this, you know, like this. If I'm going to do this, I want to be 100% serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of talking to Sensei John back and forth, you know, hey, you know, I'm thinking about coming up there full time, blah, blah, blah. What do you think? He was like, sure, yeah, you know, you stay in a pool house, you just pay rent, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool. Okay, Sensei John, I'm going to come, blah, blah, blah. I'll let you know, da-da-da. Mom, I love you. I'm going to follow my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, you know, I had a lot of help. I was teaching my mom's class that she started. I was teaching, you know, at the dojo. I was helping out at different places. And I just kind of went up and until I got my bearings, you know, mom helped me out. Da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a kind of culture shock and lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, you know, wake up, run. And I was disciplined. I was running every day, 5 miles, and I would time myself. I try to beat my time, you know, most days. I had records that I was trying to do, you know. But it's different running and fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was just a little, the training was different. The things that, there's blisters on my feet that I never had before. I had to slide my knee on the ground. I had to slide my foot on the ground. I was jabbing like a million time punch and body punch. I didn't even like body punch. You know what I mean? The only reason I have a good reverse punch, a decent reverse punch, is because of Sensei John.
Yeah.
The only reason I know about double kick is because of Sensei John.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was that, and, you know, timing, didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
Had no idea. So it really, but I knew I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I knew I needed to not do it 2 weeks and then go, not do it for a weekend. And I knew I needed to do this every single day. So I dropped, and it was December 27th, 2013, about to be 2014. Earlier that year, I lost nationals. I got bronze. I was just like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel like that anymore. So I drove up, packed my car, drove up. They were having the last practice of the year. That was the thing. They have the last practice of the year. All the IKF black belts come. Mm-hmm. And I drove up, and I showed up to the dojo. Sensei John was like, what the hell are you doing here? I go, Sensei, I'm here. It's like, oh, okay, but what you doing? Apparently there was some confusion. I was like, Sensei, I'm going to come up for the last practice. But we were talking about, like, me staying. Okay. But that was never, like, joined together, I guess. Oh. So he was like, what are you doing? Yeah, you guys practice, but why your car for? I was like, Sensei, I drove up to stay. He was like, oh, okay. And he was real cool. But I was like, no, you don't need a hotel out. You know, I'll stay in a hotel for the night. And we can figure things out. I was like, no, just come on in. Pool house already ready. It was already ready for me. So that's that awesome. Day, man, I showed up, did like half the last practice because I was late. It was like 5, 6, 7, 8 hour drive, you know. Yeah. And then stayed there for the rest of the time. And I trained every day. So really, dude, I started going to church regularly. I was training regularly. I wasn't going out, you know, every once in a while, you know, maybe, but nothing stupid. I was really focused, and I was dedicated to being a professional athlete, you know what I mean, to taking it very seriously. Yeah. And in that environment, you have no choice. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sensei John says, hey man, we're going to train tomorrow at 9. Okay, I better get up at 6 because I know this is going to be hard. I'm going to need 3 hours to prepare myself. Especially, and it sucks because when you're the only one there, you know you're the one that's going to die. He's not looking at anyone else. You're doing literally every technique, you're doing it. Yeah. Yep. You know what I mean? Every time he counts, every time there's timers, you're doing everything. Exactly. And you cannot stop. Yeah. So how long do you plan on competing for? How much longer? And do you plan on opening up your own school in the future sometime? Okay, so you want to hear something kind of funny? Before coronavirus hit, last year was going to be my last year competing. Really? Yeah, and then went to Japan. I took it seriously. I kind of started, getting better. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I went to nationals. I fought. I feel like I got a little bit screwed, and that's just my honest opinion. But I should be good enough to where there's no doubt. So after Japan, I came back to the States, and I spoke with Sensei Brody. And I was like, I think I want to come out for this next year for team trials and stuff. I know I don't have any hope of going to the Olympics. I just want to go to Worlds and Pan Ams, and give my last run for the World Championships. So I moved down in November. We trained. I went to the team trials. In the team trials, I was winning to go to the final, and Ramrup swept me and scored an Ippon. And he won by, I think, and I scored one more, and then he won by 1 point to go to the final. So I ended up taking third. I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. So from there, the top 4 in 67 kilos and the top 4 in 60 kilos had double elimination to go to the Paris qualifier. And if you place top 3 at the Paris qualifier, you go to the Olympics. So luckily I ended up winning that. And I was like, dang, bro, I didn't want this. I wanted to go to Worlds. You know what I mean? That's been my goal. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do the Paris qualifier. And so that was supposed to be this year, but everything got pushed back. So now it's going to be next year. They may run the trials for that again, but they're definitely going to run the trials for World Championships and Pan Ams again.
So you have another chance.
So I have to do that. So honestly, I hope they don't run the Paris qualifier trials because I'm already in.
Right.
But I mean, if you look at it from like an athletic standpoint, like as an athlete, if I'm being honest, it's kind of like, oh man, that's kind of messed up, for the other athletes. But their reasoning is the Paris qualifier, that trials was for an event, one tournament. You're qualifying to go to this tournament. The qualifier to go to Worlds and Pan Ams, you're qualifying for the U.S. team for a period of time, for a year. So since that year is up, they're going to have a new one every year. But this tournament, since it got postponed, all it did was get moved. The same person who qualified for the tournament stays qualified for that tournament.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I guess that was the stipulation in the bylaws that they wrote. Now, they're trying to get that changed, but I'm just like, oh,
right. Please. No.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I don't really want to go, but I was like, you know what? I'll go, man. And so we made the opportunity, and I might do well. Then I go to the Olympics, man. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it.
That's cool,
so that was just kind of my thought. So, but then Worlds comes up, and now I have next year. I have to train to go to the qualifier if I'm still in, and hopefully team trials do well and go to Worlds and Pan Ams. So here I am again. Dude, I've been trying to quit for like 5 years. I've been trying to retire.
I'm done. Nah, let me do one more time. One more.
Oh, I won? Dang, I gotta go again.
Gosh.
It's funny. So, and actually, yes, I am going to open up my own dojo. That's kind of what I'm going to
ask you the last question. If people want to get in contact you, what do you have social media? So what is it? Where is it? Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah. My Instagram. Oh, you can go to my website, brianhilliard.org. And my Instagram is Brian Hilliard. My YouTube is Brian Hilliard USA.
Okay.
Brian Hilliard, and my Twitter is Brian Hilliard US.
All right, awesome.
Facebook, Brian Hilliard Karate. Yeah. My name is Brian Hilliard.
Yeah, right? No, anything else? Brian Hilliard USA?
Yeah.
I got you. Awesome.
Hey, where were you born? Brian Hilliard.
Brian Hilliard.
You got to make it a brand, right, man? You got to make yourself a brand.
People don't understand that. That's why they're slacking. Come on now.
That's why I be posting all these stupid videos of me screaming like a...
Oh, man, I was going to ask you about that too, but it slipped my mind. I'm like, where did you get your kiais from? Like, did you just one day just wake up and you know what? That's going to be my kiai.
That's the one. So basically what happened was, like, I used to kiai, like, hey, like kind of kiai kind of deal. I found that when I was training in Sacramento with Sensei John, it took a lot of wind out of me. So I started not kiaing for real. I started kiaing for real. And real loud still, but it got higher and higher and higher and higher. But you know, the referees, they just want to hear you yell.
Yeah, that's it.
And even, like, dude, you look at Japan's kiais, they're fast and hitting hard. Boom. Oh.
Yeah. What?
They're not like, you know, kind of good. They're just, they're like, you know, yeah, it's like just like a mild yell.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, you know what I mean? Like some people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I just wanted something loud, but that didn't take a lot of air out of me.
Gotcha.
So I just used my throat instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, brother. I appreciate you, you know, joining me today and let me talk to you about everything. I hope you enjoyed.
You.
For sure. We'll keep in contact for sure. If anybody has any questions for Brian, make sure you guys hit him up. Check him out on his website or his Facebook or Instagram. All right?
Yes, thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it, man. It's so good to see you.
All right, you too, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Everyone.
All right, brother.
Peace out.